Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be looking into David Adams Richards' novel, Mercy Among the Children. We've got a description here that sounds pretty intense, actually. Our goal is really to unpack the core of it.
Yeah. Find those elements that really stick with you, make you think.
Exactly. And it's not just about plot points, is it? It's about the deeper stuff Richards brings up.
Right. The big human questions he seems to be wrestling with on the page.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Setting and characters. Rural New Brunswick. It sounds like the place itself is important.
Very much so. Descriptions often make it sound almost, well, alive. A real factor in the story, not just scenery.
And the Henderson family.
Yeah.
Sidney is central, I gather. He makes this vow of nonviolence.
Yeah. After something happens in his childhood, a trauma, and he decides, that's it, no more violence, no matter what.
Which sounds noble, but
Yeah.
what happens then? Does it work out?
Well, that's the thing. It seems his commitment, his pacifism, it doesn't exactly protect him. It kind of invites trouble.
Invites trouble. How
Yeah.
so?
The community sees it maybe as weakness.
Mm-hmm.
So he faces this relentless persecution, exploitation even. It really makes you question things.
Wow. So his deepest conviction becomes a source of suffering.
Precisely. What does it mean to stick to your guns when the world just pushes back harder?
And that must create tension within the family itself. Right. I saw mention of his son, Lyle.
Ah, yes. Lyle sees what's happening to Sidney, to the family, and he reacts differently. He becomes aggressive, protective.
So father committed to nonviolence, son feeling the need to fight back.
Exactly. It's a fascinating clash, a real internal conflict about how best to survive, how to show love and responsibility when you're under siege.
That sounds incredibly complex. These aren't simple characters then.
Not at all. Very layered, dealing with impossible choices, it seems.
Moving on to the themes. The description mentions morality, family, the human condition. Big stuff.
Huge. And that central theme of nonviolence, it's not presented simply, is it? It's challenging.
Yeah, the consequences sound brutal. So Richards isn't offering easy answers about justice or forgiveness.
Doesn't sound like it. It feels more like he's forcing the reader and maybe himself to confront how complicated these ideas are in practice. Sidney's path makes you look at your own beliefs, you know?
Mm-hmm. And how the story is told, the narrative itself, sounds significant. Rich, vivid descriptions.
Yes, and with a strong moral undertone, apparently. The way he tells it matters.
The description uses the words lyrical and raw for the prose. That's quite a combination.
It is, isn't it? Lyrical suggests beauty, but raw implies something harsh, unfiltered.
So maybe the beautiful writing makes the brutal parts hit even harder.
That could be exactly it. Heightens the contrast, makes it more impactful, capturing beauty and brutality, sometimes in the same breath.
And it's described as unsettling, but also profoundly moving. So it's not all bleak.
Apparently not. There are these glimpses of hope, redemption, even amidst the darkness.
That's important, I think. Otherwise, it might just be too much.
Right. Those moments speak to resilience, don't they? That even in the worst situations, there's something in the human spirit that keeps going. Makes you think, what keeps us going?
So, thinking about the overall impact, the source says it's more than just a story, it's an experience.
Yeah, one that lingers, stays with you after you put the book down.
That suggests Richards really gets under your skin, exploring those complex emotions and moral gray areas.
Seems like it. A testament to his skill in digging into what it means to be human, flaws and all.
And the recommendation is clear. For readers who like, well, a challenge. Thought-provoking, emotionally charged stuff.
Exactly. Not a light beach read, perhaps. It's for people who want literature that makes them think and feel deeply.
Okay, so to wrap up our deep dive here on Mercy Among the Children, we've touched on that vivid New Brunswick setting.
And Sidney Henderson's really challenging vow of nonviolence.
Right, and the consequences of that, especially the tension with his son, Lyle.
And the big themes, morality, family, explored through that rich, lyrical yet raw narrative.
It all adds up to what sounds like a deeply moving, maybe even unsettling, but ultimately profound experience.
Definitely seems that way.
So a final thought for our listeners to maybe chew on.
Okay.
Consider the real cost, the true weight of holding on to a core conviction like Sidney's nonviolence when society itself seems set against you.
Yeah. And think about Lyle's aggression, too. Is that just anger? Or is it another form of resilience, maybe a necessary one in their world? What different shapes can resilience take, and what hidden prices do they carry?